Okay. Have a good afternoon.
Were you pleased with the offense's ability to stretch the field against Ohio State compared to recent weeks?
Sometimes I can't hear that his question. I'm sorry.
Just were you pleased with how the offense was able to stretch the field compared to recent weeks?
Yeah, that was part of our plan going into it, was to be able to put the ball down the field. When you go back to last year, we were able to do that, and we had different receivers out there in this game. And I thought Nick Westbrook did a great job of catching the 50-50 ball, the competitive ball. And, yes, I was pleased. I wish we would have connected on a few more. But, you always have some plays like that.
How much did it help? I mean, right in the first drive, Hendershot had a nice block and Stevie breaks a run.
Mm-hmm.
And Stevie had a nice first half running the ball. How much did that help?
Well, that was an explosive play, and whenever you get explosive plays in the run game, that's always important. But that was a very well blocked play, and as you mentioned, Peyton Hendershot did a great job of cutting off their defensive end, and not only cutting him off, but he did a good job of finishing that block off and created a great seam there. And then Stevie had a nice run out of it. We had you look at stats, and that's why I don't get carried away with them too much. But you look at stats, you say, well, we really didn't run the ball, but when everybody hears about the RPOs. We really threw some RPOs on some 5-step slant stuff quite a bit. But when we call those, we have runs called with them. And, maybe to the naked eye, you don't see how maybe the run was blocked. But we were blocking them pretty good, especially in the first half in the run game. Even though we weren't handing the ball off, we still had some nice creases there if we did hand it off. But we were throwing the RPO.
I guess talking about that verticality, I know every week is going to be a little bit of taking what a defense gives you and trying to just sort of exploit wherever the opportunities are. But do you want that to be something that down the road is just more of a feature, the ability to maybe threaten teams down the field like that?
Yeah, I mean, you go back to the Rutgers game, and everybody thought we weren't trying to push the ball down the field. We were, and here's what, again, some people don't understand. In our passing game and about everybody's passing game, when you call vertical routes, that doesn't mean they're going to continue to run a go route. We have reads with them, and if I'm running a go route and you're that far off from me, well, then I'm not going to continue to run. I'm going to put my foot in the ground. We got certain depths that we stop at, and then we end up throwing the ball, and people look like, it looks like you're not trying to stretch the field, stretch the ball down the field, in which you are, but yet you got to take what the defense is giving you. And, they were playing so much man coverage that it was allowing us to run and get down the field farther. Whereas, Rutgers was playing more zone coverage and playing deeper, so we weren't able to get by them as much, but we were having to sit down with some of those same throws that we were making, against Ohio State.
Coach, we've obviously seen what Jay Shun's done as a punt returner last year, and then obviously, or the first part of last year and then this year. But the last two games, he's really filled in for Wap and Luke with those guys being out. How big has that been for you when you do call plays and you got a guy that you can trust in the slot to help out over the middle of the field?
Well, I think in any offense, that slot position is critical because of all the things that you do with it, some of the option routes you have with them and things like that. And as you mentioned, he's come in and just done a great job of, giving us great performance in that slot position. And it's been critical to us because of those two guys being down, what he's been able to do.
You just talked about the offensive line. It seemed like they took a step forward at times in that game. Did you feel like that?
I did. I thought, in the first half, we really were, doing a great job of blocking them in the throw game and the run game. And I said, again, we didn't hand the ball off in some of the runs because of the RPO stuff, but you could see where we had creases where if we did. Then in the second half, they started pinning their ears back a lot more because of the difference in the score and things like that. And, we had some pressures and things like that we didn't necessarily have in the first half.
What's a week in practice like for Reese Taylor, having him move to quarterbacks, but in games playing, wherever needed?
In practice?
Yeah.
Well, we it starts off an individual, and then we try to run all the different routes and things like that with him in that situation. And also he's back there, and we can hand the ball off to him as well. So we try to do that, work those things in individual. And then we get into team. Team is really where we kind of highlight all the plays, run all the plays that we can in the week. And so we try to get him different in situations that way in the slot position or the running back position.
You talked about it a little bit earlier on that block, but how have you seen Peyton Hendershot grow kind of into that tight end position this season?
Yeah, I think these last 3 weeks he's been playing exceptional. He's kind of matured as a player, a college football player, both, mentally and physically. And I've been very happy with the way he's playing. And, he goes up against guys a lot bigger than him, but I've always believed that technique can offset that. And he's really been buying into his technique and what he's been doing that way, and I'm proud of what he's doing.
During fall camp, I think it was Westbrook said they gave Peyton the nickname 24/7 because he was always open. Does he have a knack for that, just getting open?
I don't know if he's 24/7, but, I'm sure he appreciates that nickname. But, he's really worked at that too. I mean, sometimes against man coverage, you may have a safety on you. And so, it's, sometimes defenses look at that as a mismatch for them. We look at it as it should be a mismatch for us, if we've got the right tight ends. And he's been doing a great job of working his technique. He's really improved his route running technique and stuff like that. So, again, I'm proud of the way he's developing right now.
Just to stay on him for a second, first time I saw him play anything was basketball for Tri West, a good athlete.
Yeah.
That behind-the-back catch, I mean, how good a catch was that in your experience with tight ends over the years?
I didn't like it too much, to be honest with you. But, hey, it was great concentration, and I don't know how he did it. I think he and Watercutter, if you remember Watercutter's catch last year, but I think they were competing to see who could get on ESPN. But anyway, it was great concentration by him to be able to catch that ball, and, we had fun with it in our position meeting room, I know that, so. All right, have a good day.